Hi everybody, I'm Easy Badfish. Welcome to another episode from the PrimeCraft server. So, in the last episode, we were down on the subfloor 3, working on our villager breeder area, and I've done a bit of work, actually. I've redone most of what we did, actually, between episodes. I've also been AFK at MrTrend's iron farm, so I replaced my whole beacon with iron now, which is good. It looks a little better. I thought it might look cool to have a big, pile of gold at the bottom, but it just really stood out in not a very good way. And speaking of gold, I was able to reclaim that whole pyramid, obviously. And I've heard that there was a purchase made at the shop, so I need to go and maybe check it out, maybe do a little bit of restocking. So that's what we're going to do now. Heading out to spawn. So it's pretty quick to get from my base out here. I'm not actually that far away. If you fly by Elytra, I'm about 2 rockets away. So, run over here, check out the shop, see how it's doing. And yeah, so we're... Wow. That is pretty good. Wow. That's a lot of diamonds. Alright, we'll take these. And I actually kind of feel bad about that because I think Vidargavia said it in his last video, and I have to agree. I think this is a bit too expensive. So I feel bad for whoever it was that bought all of those, but we are changing this up. Price reduction. Now only 3 diamonds per stack. Alright, so we change that up. Let me go ahead and get this sorted out, and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, all stocked up again, and all packed up. We can head back to base. Alright, so I've done a little bit of work down here since the last episode. After I finished recording, I went out to the gold farm to AFK while I was editing and stuff, and then I came back the next day, and I realized that I really wasn't a big fan of what was going on in here. I had this pattern along all the walls. It was very, very gray in here, and I was trying to get color out of the glass, and it did kind of work. I did kind of like it, I guess, but then, the next day it didn't look right, so I tore it all out and redid it, and this is what I kind of came up with. I followed the pattern from the walls, out and the landing platforms along inside, and I think it looks pretty good. And the black glass just looks the best. I tried a whole bunch of different ones, like the light gray just looks too invisible, so I figured this would be a better bet. So this kind of, I went ahead and put the water in, and it works just like I mentioned the last one. Once we get 8 guys in here, we'll remove the bottom ring so babies will fall out. The water will push them along, and I'm not sure about this. Let me show you guys. I actually need to finish this up, but there's a stair here, and this isn't going to work because I'm too tall, but the babies should get pushed up onto this stair, and they'll hang out here underneath, hopefully on this stair, but I'm not entirely sure if this is going to work. But then once they grow up, they'll get picked up by this block here, and then they'll swim up the elevator. And let me put this glass back. They'll swim up the elevator, pop over here, and get dropped right onto this little area, and we'll pick them up with a minecart here. So, what we're going to be doing today, I think I wanted to finish up the tracks in the sorting out section, so we got to get that all figured out. And then I want to finish up this room over here. Now, I haven't done the ceiling all the way yet because I need to add a way to feed these guys, because it's going to be pretty difficult to feed them in this current configuration. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to add, let me block this off for now. We're going to add some hoppers here to catch anything that accidentally falls, any food that doesn't get picked up, and that will port it back behind this wall. There's also going to be a chest here with hoppers pulling the items out, and all of those hopper lines are going to go into a item elevator that picks it up, drops it into an ice path, and then basically drops it right on their head. So I've got to get some stuff out, and I will start getting the hoppers put in place, and I'll come back to you once it's you can kind of see what's going on. Alrighty, so ignoring this little bit for right now. If you look down here, there's now hopper lines running through here, and they go down under the floor and back there behind the wall. So occasionally, these guys, when they're tossing food to each other, there is a chance that occasionally it will fall down, and I want to make sure I pick that up for two reasons. One, just to not be wasteful, but more importantly, to do the best I can to make sure any babies that end up down here have no food. It's kind of important that they have clear inventories because you never know what we're going to need them for, and we also don't want them breeding down there, which they could do if they had food. So yeah, we want to make sure that we do the best we can to keep them from getting any food. So that's what that's for. Now that hopper line runs back here underneath the floor and comes down underneath this stone brick. This chest is sitting on top of hoppers that also meet up with that same hopper line down at the bottom, and they both go into this item elevator, which comes up to the top. Now this bit of redstone right here, all it does is it locks the hopper that is underneath this chest. So like right now, this is not powered. So the torch is on, powering this dust, powering this brick, which locks the hopper. That will allow me to just like put items in here. So the idea is I can store food for the villagers in this chest here, and then only feed them when I want to. So like right now it's locked. If I flip the lever, it unlocks and stuff starts draining out of this chest, and it will go up the item elevator. So now what I've got to do is figure out how to get him from here onto an ice path down and to actually go feed the villagers. So we're going to hop up here, and here's my initial thoughts on this, is that this is different because it's going into the side. Whoops. It's going to end up going into the side of our dropper instead of in the top, so, or coming from the bottom. So I've got to figure out, well, because I need the side open. It's not shooting up or down, it's shooting to the side. So I don't really have a way to power this from the side like I normally do without also locking the hopper. So I'm going to try to actually power it from here. So what I've got to do is get over here, get up here. So, all right, starting from here, if this is the dropper, what I need to do is have a comparator. I know that. We have a comparator in subtract mode. All right, sorry about that. Had to go take care of something. So the, as I said, the comparator on subtract mode, I know that it's going to have to come out into a repeater, and then we're going to have to bring that redstone. Ooh, what is that? Is that the floor? What is that? Oh, yeah, it's the wall for the skeleton thing. All right, that's fine. No problem there. So, but that's as far as we can go. So this thing actually takes up a lot more room than you might think. All right, so, well, crap. I'm going to have to... Oh, you know what I could do to make this easier on myself? So I could just come around from the side here. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work so much better. So can I get it from here? Like that, and then like that. Okay. Well, sorta. Sorta that works. So that's going to feed into... All right. Okay, so this is a little janky, but I think it should work. Basically, we've got the standard setup with the comparator up here, but instead of powering a block right... Oh, jeez. Instead of powering a block right here, or right here, that would be right next to this, we're going underneath it and powering the block underneath. So I have no idea if that's going to work. Oh. All right. But we're going to test it out. So the dropper is going to go right here. And then... looks like it works. If I put a couple in there. Burns out. Why does it burn out? Was it that block that was making it burn out? That's weird. No, it burns out after 7 and eventually kicks itself back on. Okay, so I've ripped the whole thing out. I couldn't figure out why it was burning out, and I was going to say, well, you know, we'll just forget about it. We'll see if maybe somebody can leave me a comment. We'll figure it out. But then when I went to put in the ice and start adding the water, I realized I couldn't put a block right here to seal off the waterway because there was redstone. So I'm like, man, I'm going to have to redesign this whole thing. So I ended up just moving the whole item elevator back. It is moved like 4 blocks back now, so I've got plenty of room to work with. And I'm thinking... Alright, so I redesigned it again by lifting it 1 layer. 1 block higher is where the elevator goes to now. And I gotta be honest, I'm really worried. I'm pretty sure that I've gotta be inside the floor now of the level above us, so that could be a problem. There's not really a way to tell at this point without going up there and digging out a hole to see. And I'm not really about that right now, so I guess we'll deal with that problem later if we run into it. I mean, there's probably a way we could tell, right? So at this layer, there's 1, 2... Wow, geez. Okay, so the colored wool is at this layer on the other side. So we have 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then we are at the ceiling, which gives us 1, 2. So we got a total of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 above this level where these wool blocks are at. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. These go to number 6. So that is that is actually the floor level. Man, that really stinks. If I could have made this just 1 lower, well, I could maybe wrap them like way around. I think if I were to be at this level and I came out and it just wrapped around, I think it would still work. Pretty sure. Let's try that. And make sure we leave that space. And all right. So this is once again all right, yeah, none of this should be locking any of those hoppers. So, ooh, do I have a bunch of... I don't have a bunch of stuff over here. I think I lost some redstone somewhere. But alright, no problem. Alright, what happens if I put 15 in here? Perfect. Alright. So that is what I needed. Do I have all 15? I do. Alright. That is great. So this part is now functioning. Man, that took a while. Let me go ahead and cover all these hoppers just in case it is true that that will help with the lag. I don't know. I mean, Impulse said it was. I believe him when it comes to redstone things. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that. But, alright. So what we're doing next, let me torch that, and we'll seal this up. Add another torch, and there. So now what I gotta do is, how long is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so that's fine. I'm going to need, to go ahead and make this look nicer. All right, stone bricks are all in place. I've got some packed ice here. Oh, you know what I'm going to need? I need a sign. Because we're going to need to stop that water there at the end. And I believe they are... Here they are. So if we put a sign... Oh, right. I'm going to need to do the tops here. So I'm going to need to put a sign right here. And then we'll go ahead and fill in all of our ice to there. So what I got to do is scooch closer this way. That, and then, oh, I missed it. Oh well. And then here. And yep, okay. And then I can go like that. Alright, excellent. So this should be pretty much done. This is all, it's got items flowing on it, so, well, it will. And they should be able to drop right down in there. Let me grab those cobblestone walls. Yep, see the items land right on the block, which is great. And we can test that. Let's grab a handful of redstone, throw them in there. And in a few minutes, a few seconds, we'll hear that clicking. And then the items are going to get popped out right there. So, if that was food, that would work perfectly. Now, you might have noticed that stuff that lands in here gets ported through right away. It's not locked anywhere like this chest is, and that's by design. I'm not too worried about stuff that ends up falling in here. That's just going to be a couple things. I just don't want to have to, run all the way somewhere else, grab a bunch of food every time I want to feed them. I'd like to be able to store it right here, and then just flip a lever when it comes time. So that is all good there. That stuff will despawn in a little bit. I need some glass so I can put this stuff back in. All right. So I guess what I could do now is go through and fix all of the, visible stone up in there. It's probably something I should do. Okay, so I got all the stone bricks up there, and I went ahead and installed another light here in the corner. So this breeding room is pretty much done all the way. We got the food system in, everything's good to go. The only other thing left to do to make this section of the room complete is this part down here. And now what I've done in between clips here is I have installed this lever with a lamp, and behind it is a redstone torch and dust downward signal similar to what I have in the spider farm for the cart controller, and that is basically comes all the way down here and is linked up to that torch right there. So when we turn that lever off, this also turns off. And what this is going to do, alright, so a little explanation. You're sure you know what this is. This is my fake village, and we need a villager in here to detect these doors, but we also want to, make sure that we can turn it off, right? And the best way to turn this off is to have a villager in here that you can move up and down on a sticky piston with a block on it. So that is what I have created here. And I've already measured it out. So the sticky piston is going to go right here. And then the block that he's standing on, I think I'm going to make it a polished andesite, is going to go right there. And now what that is going to do is when this is extended, his head is going to be right below this block, which is the farthest away he can be and still detect those doors. Now, I've used this system before. I know that it works. And it actually works really well. It's really handy to have an easy way to turn your villager breeder off. Ask anybody who's ever built one. So yeah, what we need to do is basically run this signal to this sticky piston down here, so that whenever we turn this lever on, we get our villager breeder is basically activated. So how is the best way to do that? Well, I'm not entirely sure. We're going to figure this out real quick. I might end up just doing more drops. So let's see. If I grab a dust here like that, I guess we'll have to do a couple inversions, yeah? And then a dust here. What happens if I remove that? That turns on, good. So that will be there. And then I can add a torch like that. And then a dust. But it doesn't connect. Not a problem. I can do this. We'll grab a repeater. And then will it turn on there? Yep. Perfect. So now I can cover this up. Sorta. Well, I can do like this here. And then probably here. Here and here. Alright, so when it's extended, we'll actually go ahead and remove like this and put some stone bricks in. Alright, so when it's extended, this is where he's going to be standing, and he'll be able to detect the doors, which is what we want. So I can go ahead and seal this off again. Alright, so I'm back at the top, and if you look down there, you'll see that there's 1, 2, 3 blocks exposed, and if I flip the lever, the thing drops, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks exposed. So that works just fine. So we have an on and off switch for our villager breeder. It's all sealed up, so he's safe down there. And this room is all completely done as well, so I think the breeding chamber is done. We're all the way good here. All we need to do is add villagers, of course, and get some food. But we can't do that until we have time to come through and do this section, so we can actually get villagers down here. But this will have to wait till another episode, I'm afraid, because that's all the time I've got for this one. So if you liked it, go ahead and leave me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the villager breeding area, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.